I'll be 70 come December, so you have me by a mile.
Hey, you're looking great, man. You're looking great for knocking on the door of 70, man.
Hey, listen, that's why I said the last time I saw you, man, we were at a CBT complaining about these 60-year-olds talking
That's
about
right.
talking about their prostates and all the other things old men talk about that we're talking about now, you know.
That's right. That's right. That's right, man.
Yeah, man. So what are you up to, Walter Braswell?
Hey, living down in Florida, 8 months and then 4 months up at Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
It must be all right. It must be nice.
Hey, BEN.
Yeah, what's up, bro? How you doing?
BEN.
BEN.
How you been doing?
Yeah.
Good, man. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, bro. I did say better be seen than reviewed.
That's true. That's true.
That's right.
That is very true.
So we were talking about your line, and on this day, man, we were like all like, damn, Hell Week is almost over. What's going on? It's a different time, my brother. It's a different time.
Yeah. It is. How's everybody on your line? I mean, can you guys account for everyone?
Well, let's just say one of us is a ward of the state.
Again,
not Mario.
Yeah.
No, come on, man. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That still hasn't changed. You know that, man.
Are you? What did he do? Where is
Mario?
No, Mario's Mario, man. It's
he was out for a little while.
Yeah, he got out for a little while, and Ben and I reached out to him, but the first thing out of his mouth is, "I need money,"
Oh man!
So it's like, no, I can't help you with that habit, dude.
What did he get? Did he get busted on drugs?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
I mean,
that sounds about right.
Yeah. That's it. Mario was always doing his thing, and then I guess Rick Marable. We've been trying. I think he's still in Buffalo, but who knows?
I know he was teaching school at one time.
Oh, really?
And I can say I reached out to people up at SU to see if maybe I can get a number for him, and with no luck.
Yeah. Well, I blame that 68 line that beat the crap out of that poor boy. He had no act at all.
Yeah, that's what happens. Some people, get through it and then say, "I don't have anything to do with it anymore."
No, he's around. I mean, we've seen him.
Yeah.
We've seen him. So he's been around.
Yeah.
But,
I stay in very close contact. Well, I shouldn't say close, but fairly close contact with Lou Mitchell. Lou and Cynthia. They also have a house up in on the Vineyard. Okay. So when we're up there during the summers, we get together quite a few times for dinners. Mm-hmm. And I was staying in very close contact with Al Ferry. But we'll send Christmas cards and whatever still. Mm-hmm. And then Joe, I mean, I'm sure you guys know about, Joe, his wife died a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I spoke to him, quite a few times when that happened, but I haven't spoken to him about in a year and a half. Mm-hmm. But professionally, he has done spectacular. I mean, he couldn't do, and he's one of the most prominent white collar crime lawyers in the country.
Okay.
Who's this?
Joe Caldwell.
Joe Caldwell.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah. Extremely. He's done. He couldn't do any better. I can only think of maybe 4 or 5 other Black attorneys who do the type of work that he does that have done nearly as well as he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you see, brothers, I got the former Grand Basileus on the call with us, Dr. Andrew Ray. He's
brother.
The brother that read us in.
That's right.
Andrew Ray.
He was the Carter rep.
Rochester.
Yep.
Oh, yes. He came in from Rochester. Was he there when I went over in '67?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, but he was the Carter rep, which at that time they called deputy DR back in those days. He came over and read us in. So we was so we was his first line. Then he went on to be the district rep from 86 to 88. and then he went on to be the Grand. Then he went on to be the Grand Basileus in 2010 to 14.
Wow.
The best one ever.
So, and I was
wow.
yes, I was his assistant back in the day.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, and we also got Elbert English. Elbert English. He was that 68 line.
The bro.
No, of course I remember Albert English. He's on the call.
Yeah.
He said,
But I guess he's looking too old to be viewed. So
Probably on with his phone. Albert.
If I remember correctly, we called him Bama.
No, that's John Ricks.
That was John Ricks.
That was
John Ricks who was Bama. Okay.
Yeah.
Albert pledged us.
Yeah, the bro.
Moses was the good-looking one, but I see that's changed.
Where are those guys now?
Well, Moses is on the call in mute. I guess he doesn't know how to push the button.
Okay, I'm with you now.
This technology is a mother, man.
Let me tell you something. You telling me for the first time today, this is the God's honest truth. The phone I have, I was on a call and I had to patch someone in, and I didn't know how to do a three-way call. I started pressing some buttons. The Lord was with me. It actually worked out.
What's happening, man?
Well, Moses, it doesn't work with rotary, man. It doesn't.
Well, that's what I figured out. That's what I realized.
With rotary.
Actually, if you have the rodeo and you hit the plunger, you can do it. Actually,
I see. You got to keep tapping, asking for the operator.
Yeah.
I think for the grand
party line.
Steve, what's happening, man? I haven't seen you in a couple of years.
My gosh, let me tell you something. This is a momentous occasion. We got Andrew here. We got Walt Braswell. Let me tell you something. Cause for celebration.
Yeah. Now I'm waiting. Now, where's Bama?
I don't know. His bus should be.
Bama's always late.
Yeah.
He's from the South, man.
He's from the South. He's from the South.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So Brother Grand, how's Rochester treating you, man? You still up there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're doing fine, man. Wherever we go. I was just reminiscing as you guys were talking. I recall that my first contact with Ben was very memorable, and and even after that, one day when we have some time, I have to tell you, brothers, all about Brother Ben and how he went from being a renegade to preacher.
Oh, he's still a renegade. Don't. Oh, he's just a renegade in a suit now. He's always sharp.
That's exactly right.
He's always sharp, but he's still a renegade.
We used to call him the grape.
Oh yeah.
The man could make his own wine, I'm telling you.
Make his own wine.
But back in the old days, me and Steve and was Roche with us. We had the speakeasy in the frat house when we had the refrigerator up on the second floor. We sold wine after hours.
You didn't sell any wine.
Yes, we
bootleg.
did.
Yeah, man.
That was a great business.
Wait a minute. Hey, Walt. After y'all left, we had to innovate.
That was a great business. Let me tell you
wait a minute. And we had a soda machine in the hallway of the frat house, and we put beer in the soda machine on Fridays. So you put your quarter in the machine, you get a can of beer out.
We had some regular customers.
Are you serious?
Tony Braxton was a regular customer.
Yep.
Frosty was a regular customer. We had
Frosty.
Wait a minute.
Frosty. Isn't Frosty a Kappa?
Yeah, he's a Kappa. That's exactly right.
That's all right. But when it comes down to wine, we all I said it might be to make it over on different ships, but we all on the same boat.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I know Frosty was good friends with Wayne Brown.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
They were close buddies.
Exactly.
And Wayne and I, we really were close for a number of years. And we're still in contact with his wife, and I see his kids every summer up at the vineyard.
Yeah.
But the kids got to be in college or out of college by now.
Out. But the younger son is thinking about going back to grad school. The oldest son is not thinking about. But one older son is like 29, 30, and younger is like 26.
Yeah, because
wow.
Because I mean, because Wayne was living, You know, he'd be about 60 at least.
Oh, well, more than that. More than
Yeah.
that. He's my wife is 64 and they're the same age. They would have been the same age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they crossing and on that
Elbert.
first line at 75 with Frank winning them.
I don't see your mic or your camera connected. Maybe you need to sign back in.
Albert?
Yeah, unless he's on a flip phone.
Elbert.
A flip phone. A flip phone.
Don't knock the flip phones because
No, I know.
I got one of them. And
Let me
see,
tell you something. That's
you
one of my best phones.
You can't be tracked with the flip phone.
If it hadn't died on me, I'd still be using it.
I gotta say, it can't be trapped with a flip phone, man.
Elbert, you gotta sign in on the computers, Elbert.
Yeah, well, I hoping Brother Grand is giving up his flip phone.
Oh no. He high class.
I had to go on and do that because Ben got a flip phone because the ladies were really hounding him. And as a matter of fact, it came to fruition here in Rochester. The pastor, one of the major pastors here in Rochester is an Omega, one of our brothers. And I was sitting with him. We were at a big event and Ben was dancing with the church secretary. And so I told the pastor, I said, Pastor, you're going to have to get you another church secretary. He said, why? I said, well, she's out there with Brother Ben Jeffers. You can stick a fork in her. She's done.
She's done.
That's Brother Ben. I mean,
Brother Ray.
Yes, sir.
Brother Ray.
Yes, sir.
Ben had an all-night affair. He hit the mount, he come back down and hit the lower campus. He be making his rounds, bro. But he was smart. He kept him at a distance.
Well, he's good like that now. He's good like that. We were down in Cleveland. We were down in Cleveland for an event with the frat when I was grand. We were down there and Ben came down and took one lady to the airport that he had for that weekend. And then when he came back to the hotel, he had another lady. He said he dropped one off at the airport and picked the other one up at the airport and brought it back. So it lets you know what kind of man Ben is. It gives you some insights.
Hey, equal opportunity, brother.
Equal opportunity.
Before you marry, brother. See, I got put myself sacrifice for y'all. I can hold up. They'll make a mystique.
That's right. I'm living through you, my brother. I'm living through you.
Ooh, boy.
That's cool.
It's rough being me, y'all.
But
brothers,
somebody's got to do it, huh?
I want you to know that though we joke a lot, but I tell you, Brother Ben has been a hell of a brother for Omega. When we came into he and Scrap, they were my main people as we began to work on Omega and turn the fraternity around. And when we got there, my brothers, and I can share this with you brothers because you were my first line for me, but I can share this with you. Omega was almost dead broke. We almost were in the tank. And we had to make some decisions. We started off with something like about $600,000. And that's nothing for an international organization on the verge of a 100-year anniversary. That's no money. And so we were able to put together a program that we were able to execute. And when we left office in Philadelphia in 2014, Omega had moved from 600,000 to over $6 million. And so we did that in short order, and primarily because Ben had a lot of experience. Scrap had a lot of experience. I know most of you brothers know Scrap, named Jordan. He has a lot of experience. Cooper had his own law firm. And so we got together for the first time. You had 4 DRs, past DRs, at the top of the food chain in Omega, and that's what turned it around. Collectively, we knew pretty much everything we had to do in Omega, turn things around. And so we did a miraculous turnaround. Just top financial shape. We have restored the Life Membership Foundation to where it should be. And really Ben was a part of that. So his night activities took up a lot of his time. but during the day, he really worked for Omega. And I won't get into some of the details because I don't want us to besmirch being still in character on the Zoom call.
The only thing that's left to do is we got
you ain't telling us anything new.
The only thing that's left to do is we just got to get Ben's picture taken down from the post office, and then we all good to go.
Yeah, that's right. The postmaster, the Joy, is still looking for him.
Brothers, I gotta tell you this: we were at the Delta Centennial, and of course Ben was. We were all there, and all the national presidents. We were at the Delta Centennial, and all the presidents. We had to sit in the same a certain spot in the hallway there. And so I told Ben, I said, "Man, walk my wife over to the table where the rest of the ladies are." And so Ben was coming down the red carpet, big jumbotron is showing on. I mean, it was just something else. I mean, a great presentation. And Ben was just pimping all down the red carpet. And so he got to a point on the red carpet, and it was a pen of about maybe 20 deltas. And they all stopped, Ben. Because I can't talk to y'all right now. I'm with the first lady.
Hello.
Yeah, to get running, man, because I tell you, all the ladies were calling out Ben's name, and he was trying to get my wife to the table so he could get out of that mess because they had him cornered for a minute there at the Delta Centennial. So that tells you something, brother. Wow. The brother has really been doing some things.
Yep. Hey, John Ricks, I see you've got the modern day look. You lost all your hair. Is that because you're old?
Right. That's right. How y'all doing, man?
How you doing, my brother?
You and Frank Torres are on the same level,
Wow.
Now you compare me?
Yeah, to Bama. That Walt, that's Bama.
That's Bama. That's real Bama.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's
He'll
up,
he'll
Mr.
always be
Braswell?
Bama to us.
Mr. Braswell, how you doing, man?
Good, man. And you?
All right, man.
Yes,
I like your background there. All right.
Yes.
Well,
cool.
where
That's cool.
are you talking to us from? Where are you? You in New Jersey? You in the Cape? Where are you?
Oh shit, Moses, man. What's up?
Who
No,
me?
Bama.
I'm in Florida, man.
You're in Florida, okay.
Yeah, I'm heading up to the vineyard on Friday.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Man.
But we had some good times, y'all. I tell you, running with the Grand was, first of all, I was retired. Okay, so that's the best volunteer job in the world.
Andrew was retired too.
Yep,
So that's
retired. Look, my suitcase stay packed. If he called me and said we gotta go in 2 days, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
In fact, one time we was on the road 18 out of 21 days. We was on the road.
No.
Wow.
Well, I think the only one of us here working is John Ricks.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Ben, what did you do for a career, man? What were you doing?
I did juvenile corrections for about 30 years.
Oh, so you had a legitimate 9 to 5.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Keeping all those little criminals. Keeping all those little crooks out of Liquor Square.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, man. But 30 years with the state. So I retired January 31st of 2008. So then when
2008.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm retired about 13 years, man.
That's great.
They said 55 and 30, and I had 33 years. And then if you start work prior to July 76, they 2 more years. So I had 35 years. So
that's great. That's great.
That's the best time to retire when you can still remember things.
Hey, when you still remember. I know. I tell people that all the time. You can't recapture those years, man. That's why I cut it loose at age 62, man. I said, I walked away from my judgeship and walked away from a full pension there.
I hear you.
I said, these years are too precious. I already got everything that I need, and let me enjoy these, the last phase of my life, playing golf every day.
Yeah.
How many years do you have, Walter? How many years do you have to go for the pension, though? How many years?
Well, unfortunately, before going on the bench, I was general counsel of a company for 25 years. So I had a full pension there, and my wife, had a full pension from teaching. And I just said, hey, let's enjoy this phase of our life. Let's get out of town, buy something in Florida as we have, and because we built the house up at the Vineyard 35 years ago. You know?
Yeah. How
So,
long were
you
you
know-
on the bench?
I wasn't on the bench very long, 7 years.
Seven,
That's long
okay.
enough.
Yeah. But I mean, if I stayed on, I would have got a full pension. But if I stayed on to age 70, 8 years, I said, no way am I giving
Not
up
worth it.
8 years of my life when I don't need it. You know, I
That's
don't
right.
need the money. I
Well,
have no regrets. Put it
Yeah,
that way.
because
No regrets.
Because in fact, I had a cousin who he worked sanitation in New York. So he started from throwing the cans to be a 2-star superintendent. He retired at 68. He was dead at 69.
Jesus.
That's what happens.
Yep.
Here it
That's
is.
what happens. That's what happens that's what happened to my wife's father. He died at 61 years old. He was the
Wow.
president of the Transit Authority Management Unit
Damn.
and died at 61.
Jesus.
You know,
Yeah.
so I said, nah, man, that ain't happening. But look, man, in preparation for this, I was looking around the house to try to find
You tell your
something
brick.
from the old. Anybody see
Oh,
what this is?
whose brick is that?
I got my
My
brick right here.
Who's got Frank? You got a brick?
Whose
My
brick
brick.
is that?
It says Little Brother Walt Braswell, number 7.
Damn.
Look at that. Magnificent 7.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
I've had this brick for what, 45 years, 50 years?
Nah,
More
man.
than 50 years.
More than
If
50
we got
years.
50 years, you got
55,
50.
55 years.
No,
That's
not
right.
55, 68,
55 years, man.
53.
Yeah.
53.
Well,
53.
I
Well,
still
man.
got my brick too. I still got my brick.
you still
Yeah.
got. What
Yeah.
about that?
Hold
What
it
about
up.
that paddle that Frank's line?
Yeah,
made?
I still got the
Still have
paddles
that
in my
paddle?
study. It's in my study.
Damn.
Man, put it up.
I tell you, so a lot of time, Ray talks about the 72 line when he came down there, when the guys came over. Remember, the guys came up from Penn State. We had a house full, and they was smoking that weed and jumping around on people.
Yeah, that
I
My
think it's
brothers-
big now, New York State, Ben. So
others I can tell you this. When I came there, I went. The DR
Yeah,
sent me
gallon
up
of
to
milk, man.
Syracuse.
What was in that milk?
Hey, Frank, hold it, man.
He said,
yeah.
he said,
Went to
sent me up to Syracuse to see what was going on. He said, "What's going on in Syracuse? I'm getting some reports up there." So I went up to Syracuse, got there. Yeah, the frat house is on Comstock, and so I got there and got to the door. Opened the door, and I was hit by a hail of marijuana smoke coming out of the frat house.
That was probably Frank's room.
I mean, it was thick. And so I got in and I was searching around to find the lights in the place, and I found the wall light, I turned the light on, and everything was going on. Silent Sam in one corner, standing on somebody's chest, and then they threw somebody across the room right in front of me. And so I finally got everything in order. And then everybody stopped and settled down except Ben. And so I went over to him. He was over there working somebody over. He was letting somebody have it. So I tapped him on the shoulder. And I said, you, stop this shit right now. And he turned around and looked at me. He said, who in the fuck are you?
That's right.
Yeah, that would be the great.
But after that, so I think I'm gonna throw all y'all out of here. So I'm gonna suspend this whole chapter. But we were having the conclave in St. Louis, and I was in the hallway of the hotel, and Ben walked through the door. He looked like a homeless person at the time. And I asked him, I said, "How in the hell did you get here?" He said, "I hitchhiked." Because at that time,
Damn.
the chapter was up for suspension because he had missed 2 conclaves. And he hitchhiked all the way to St. Louis to save the chapter.
Wow.
And that's when I backed off from suspending the whole chapter and throwing everybody out. I said, there's got to be something good in this boy because he hitchhiked all the way out here to save his chapter. So I'm going to give him another look. So
They should have drug him off in the woods.
Ben can find his way back from anywhere.
what kind of crazy stuff would you be out hitchhiking in 1970 something? It's a wonder he's still alive.
Yeah, that's back in
It was something else,
73,
but
man.
I called him in. What happened about 10 years later it was, man. I said we was putting a chapter at Cornell.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna pull Ben off this life he's been living, this renegade life. So I called, said, man, I need you to do me a favor. He said, yeah, man, what is it? I said, I want you to be the graduate advisor at Cornell. Oh, no. I said, oh, yes. I said, you got to stop this foolishness. So I pulled him off of the renegade behavior, and he became the graduate advisor at Cornell. And since that time, he's done a hell of a job as grad advisor. Yeah. The chapter has been chapter of the year for three consecutive years, I believe, man. 3 consecutive years.
Wow.
They had the highest GPA. The highest GPA for 2 years. Yeah, so he's done a hell of a job with the chapter since he turned his life around.
That's great.
I tell you, because when I got to St. Louis, I ain't had no money because all I had was a check for registration, and so Ray fed me for a week. Man, I ate hamburgers and French fries.
Hamburgers and French fries.
But I'm like 20. I'm like 20 years old, so I'm like
that was the staple at the frat house, man. That was the staple.
I'm 20 years old, so I can do that. And then the brothers from Penn State put me up. So I had 2 chairs because they had a double with 2 chairs and coffee table. So I slept on that for a week. And then Carl Jenkins and Greg Pesser from Zeta Psi, they drove out to St. Louis, and I got to ride back home with them. But I went, but see, because the conclave before was in Pittsburgh and nobody went, and so I had to go.
Yeah,
I had to go. See, I know y'all, a lot of y'all didn't know that because in '73 we get ready to go down the tubes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because
crazy times.
Yeah.
Crazy times. But, when I think back to those days, the main person that comes to mind is Ozzy.
Ozzy, I knew you were going to say Ozzy. I knew it.
So you guys knew Ozzy. The last time I saw Ozzy was about 15, maybe even 18 years ago. He comes knocking on my door. This is a true story. Knocking on my door when I lived in West Orange. And I'm saying, what the fuck? Ozzy, what are you doing here? He said, man, I'm on my honeymoon. Do you mind if my wife and I spend the night in your house on the couch? I said, honeymoon.
Perfect.
It practically threw you out.
No, man, I let him. Fortunately, it was a pull-out couch, and that's where he spent the night, man, on his honeymoon.
On his wedding night.
I hope I didn't keep
The guy was coming from California because he was living out in San Diego. Yeah. But Ozzy did really well, man. I went out to visit him. Oh man, that has to be 35 years ago. And he was telling me how, he worked for the San Diego Evening Tribune, and then he was doing really well. So we were driving somewhere, and he purposely took me by this billboard on the highway, and sure enough, a full goddamn billboard, Osborne Roberts, star reporter for the San Diego Evening Tribune, and a picture of him up on a billboard on the highway. So he did great. I haven't heard anything, from him or about him in quite a while, but he did well. He had a nice career.
Yeah.
As what he did, what he told me his specialty was to go and do undercover work. And he had to do something where for a period of time, he had to convince people that he was Jamaican. And he had to do some undercover work that he said he wrote about on a regular basis for the newspaper. But Ozzy, I can tell you Ozzy stories all night. Some of the crazy stuff that he did. Let me just tell you one quick story. I invited him to this party up in the Bronx, and it was a really nice party. And I was there with some of my friends who I grew up with, and we were hanging out. And they said, "Hey, Braz, man," they said, "you got to get outside. Your boy's in a fight." I said, "What?" They said, "Yeah, your boy Ozzy is outside getting his ass whipped." And I said, "Come on, you got to be kidding." So I go out in the hall. And sure enough, Ozzy is fighting this dude. Step back. I pulled him off. I said, "Come on, Ozzy, man, you can't be fighting, man. He got blood all over his face.
Oh,
getting his butt really kicked." And so I'm saying, "Ozzy, come on, man, come on." He looked at me. He said, "Braz, I took his best punch, man. You gotta let me fight some more."
I took his best punch.
But man, he was a strong brother. He was.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say.
He was
So,
a real strong
you know,
brother.
he'd be able to take a punch, but Dan, that's pretty serious.
He was the New York State high school rope climbing champion of New York State.
Yep.
But here's another quick story with Ozzy. He and I got into it one night when we were online. They were, you know, our first, I don't know, month or so online, we didn't get paddled. It was cool. Everybody was having a good time. Ozzy couldn't take it anymore. He felt that this wasn't really pledging. So he went out to HBC one afternoon because a number of brothers, Mike Askey and Sam and Rick Sampson and those guys were all hanging out there. He goes out to HBC and calls them all a bunch of faggots. So you guys are a bunch of fucking faggots. That night, we had a meeting and they lit us up. This is the first time we got paddled.
Oh my God.
And then what they did is they walked outside and stood by the door to see what our reaction was going to be. My reaction, because they told us, they said, we're whipping your ass because of what Ozzy did. So they stood by the door. I mean, we didn't know that. I went to Ozzy. I said, motherfucker. I said, if you ever do that shit again, I'm going to put my foot up your ass. Braswell, you're a punk. You're a punk. I said, yeah, you'll find out how much of a punk I am if you do this shit again. You know, so we were almost ready to go to blows. So the brothers were standing outside and heard that. And the next meeting, they said, oh, what about the rest of you guys online? Why didn't your guys jump on Ozzy? You know, why didn't you can't let Ozzy do crazy stuff like that. But that was Ozzy's story, man. Always in the middle of a fight. Always.
Always backing up. Always doing something, you know.
Always doing something.
So that's why y'all made him the dean, huh?
That's exactly right. That's why he was our dean, right?
That's exactly right. Because all we had to do is get him drunk and he'd leave us alone.
No, but making him the dean was probably the thing that saved our lives.
No lie. No lie.
Yo, that was a strategic choice to make him the dean so that we would survive.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one we had to be concerned about after that, the only one we had to be concerned about after that was Elbert.
Yeah.
Elbert English?
Elbert was the other crazy one that did.
Elbert, unmute. Elbert, hit the unmute.
Elbert's on mute.
Yeah, unmute. Click on the area.
There you go. Now where your picture at? Hit the camera.
Get one of your youngins to help you.
Your grandkids.
Hey, Ben, I gotta ask you a question. That photograph of you drinking a gallon of milk. What was in that gallon of milk?
What milk?
There's a photograph right in front of the frat house drinking a gallon of milk.
That wasn't any
He's too
milk.
drunk to remember.
Ooh,
Oh, man, I wish I got that photograph because I see that photograph all the time.
Ben doesn't drink milk unless it's
I
coming
know,
out
but
of the
what was
breast.
in that gallon of milk?
No milk.
It might have been breast milk.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, Ben, how many cars have you been through in your lifetime?
Firebird number one.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember that one.
Now, how many police cars has he wrecked?
Yo,
that Trans Am was a fortune if you still had it.
I got a Nissan Xterra with 393,000 miles on it.
300? Get out of here.
Yeah.
With 393,000 miles on it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but Ben, what
He's
is
a road
that
warrior.
Trans Am?
And the real joke is it's an 06, okay?
Damn.
So from 10 to 14, it spent the weekends at the airport parking garage because I was traveling with the Grand.
Right.
damn, that would have been a $500,000 car.
Okay, it spent the weekends at the airport parking garage.
Damn.
Yeah, some expensive collector's car.
Hey,
Yeah, but Ben, you always had two cars. Didn't you have
you
the
know
truck?
that. You know
You
that.
had the
brother.
truck.
When you be
Oh,
creeping.
I never forgot that.
I tell you, man. Since COVID, man, I need some new eyes. I can't even say about no frat meeting no more.
You should be driving Brother Grand's Mercedes instead, man. Or Range Rover.
No.
Nah, bro.
Bro, I could not do it. See,
No.
Ben could not be driving that because I'm gonna tell you something, my brother. See, when Ben comes to town, he has to come under the cover of darkness when he comes to Rochester.
Oh yeah.
Because the ladies are looking for him. And so that brother has to come. As a matter of fact, Ben is known in the fraternity as Nicodemus. He only travels by night.
Oh.
Ben, but all this shit they're saying about you and the ladies, Ben. Do you have a family? Do you have kids? What's going on?
No,
You've avoided all of that.
None that he's claiming.
Never married, Ben? You never got hooked up?
No, you remember I got married in 79 and my wife died.
Oh, that's right, on the boat ride.
Yeah, exactly.
Forgot about that, man.
Exactly. So I was married 35 days.
Jesus.
Whoa.
Is that all, Ben?
Huh?
Yeah, that was on that
35
keyboard
days?
right,
Yeah, 35 days. I got married June 30th and she died August 4th.
That's right, on the boat ride. If something got a
On the
liquor
boat
bottle
ride,
or
right.
something. What happened, Ben? She fell on a liquor bottle or something?
Yeah, she come down the stairs, she tripped and hung onto the railing and swung into the rail and the bottle broke and cut her heart.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Wasn't that the boat ride that brother went to dive onto the boat?
Yep, and missed. Yep.
Yeah, that was in the news. That part was in the news.
So, I saw that when he came after the boat was leaving the harbor. He just ran trying to grab the rail and then fell right in the back of the boat, man.
You weren't around yet, man. Oh, yes, you was 75. Yes, you was. Yes, you was.
Yeah,
New York City. That was on the news in New York.
But you know what though? But just have things would happen in life. You know, because there ain't nothing that I talk about a whole lot. But in 2000, I'm running for first vice DR, and you know, so brothers trying to set me up and stuff. You know, because normally you'd have your speech on Friday, and then you have elections on Saturday. So they decide we're gonna set him up. We're gonna have this greeting on Saturday morning. We're gonna catch him out there. So they got my opponent go first, and then I came up, and I told him, I said, are you
feedback?
Are you how do I put it? Are you probably brother Mega Sci-Fi? Brother, yeah, I said, well, so am I. I said, and I've given everything I can give. I said, I've given my life for 25 years and my wife, and they started giggling. I said, because my wife died on the Cuba boat ride in 1979. I said, and I have yet to see compensation from Fraternity for it. I said, because if I did, I'd be a millionaire today in today's market.
Oh, that's right.
It got so quiet. You hear Rattler Guard, okay?
I was there. It got
quiet in there.
Your floor manager.
Because the brothers knew it happened, but they never knew who it was.
No.
Wow.
And by the time the votes got cast, I was the next first vice DR in 2nd District.
Yeah. In the back room with a knife in his pocket, making sure the votes didn't get ripped off.
Yep. But that's how that worked in its own way. I don't understand. No, you know, I know. Like I said, I didn't go after y'all because in my heart I knew the frat wasn't responsible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But in this day and age, man, that's why I said, man,
cleaned up. I'll be a millionaire.
Yep. Every chapter needs that SEC, man. Every chapter needs that insurance, and that's gone up.
No question. And but Ben, in retrospect, you wouldn't be suing the frat. I would hope that the frat would have had insurance, and that the boat definitely would have had insurance. Did you ever speak to
you got everybody because the frat gave the function. So it's
I understand that. But to give a function like that, the owner of the boat would have to make sure that the frat had coverage.
Right.
Okay.
You're not suing the frat. You would just anyhow. Did you ever speak to a lawyer at the time?
Well, trust me. I've been around long enough to know I could have got some money out of Mega Sci-Fi.
With no question, but I'm saying you were probably thinking it was coming from the frat. It would be coming from their insurance carrier.
Insurance, right?
But back then our insurance was kind of we didn't start doing insurance until lately. Real insurance until lately. Because nowadays you can't give a function without having insurance.
That's right. You're saying back then that wasn't the case.
But we talking 40 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but today,
it was a whole different climate 40 years ago.
yeah, today they won't touch it, man. Anything that's got Omega Psi Phi in it, even if it's just brothers wearing paraphernalia, they'll say, "Oh, that's a Q event." Let's go after him.
Okay, I'll give you a perfect case. The brothers had a function up in Ithaca. The party is over. The party's over. Everybody's going home. These guys came from Ithaca College are going back to the school. They bump into a girl. She starts ranting and raving and blah, 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 blah. The guy's over there apologizing to her. Miss, I'm sorry I bumped into you. I'm so sorry. He's apologizing. His friend comes up and starts apologizing. I guess somebody who she was with comes over, sees her ranting and raving, don't know what it's about, pulls out a knife and starts stabbing people.
Whoa.
Okay? Starts stabbing people. One guy goes to the hospital, other guy goes to the morgue. Don't you know the parent of this of the kid that died wants to sue the fraternity, saying that we had the party that brought the people there?
That's right.
Wow. And so what happened? Did they bring a suit?
It's still litigation, but they're probably
Wow.
but they're probably going to settle with something, And the bottom line on it, of course, and this ain't for publication, so Frank ain't got to go no further than here, is that the person that got killed did not bump into the girl. He came along being a peacemaker. So how do you tell a mother that, well, if your son had minded his own business, he still be alive? You can't tell her that.
No.
You know what I mean? But that's the truth of the matter. He didn't bump into the girl. He came along being a peacemaker and got killed. But they won't go to the press saying we brought people there. But no, because they had security at the party, so everything was covered. The brothers weren't the witnesses because they went home.
Yeah.
So they weren't the witnesses of nothing.
And that happened on the streets.
On the streets
of Ithaca. It wasn't at the university. Everything was over, and so to drag us into it. That just shows you how deep this stuff has gotten. And so we're still fighting that case. Although the brothers had nothing to do with it, it was not on the campus. It was just out on the street. And so people out on the street got into a fight, but they're trying to say to Omega that you are responsible. And so we're still fighting that.
Because of the party.
Some brother throwing a basketball on the back of a head of a human giant, would probably not be a good idea, right?
No.
It'd be a very bad idea.
Why would you do that, Bama? Why?
At a basketball game against Zeta Psi, somebody taking a basketball and throwing it against another Zeta Psi frat brother's head.
So we talk about brother on brother violence?
No, the Zeta Psi is a frat at Syracuse.
Zeta Psi frat. Okay, I thought you meant Zeta Psi chapter.
Yeah, we were playing against them at an intramural game. I got the Elbert wants to say hello on my phone. His mic is not working on the Zoom, but he wants to say hello. Go ahead, Elbert.
Well, he can call on his phone, right?
Doing good, Elbert.
Albert.
How you guys doing tonight?
All right,
man.
Y'all got fuck there.
Go.
You got what?
We used to call it fuck.
Wall
There you go.
Hey, man, Albert, I don't have to take this shit. Come on, what are you talking about, man? Albert, where are you? Are you still down in Alabama, man?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
I'm in the town where the guy got killed. Andrew Brown.
Oh yeah,
That's Elizabeth City.
Oh, is that where she pulled out the gun?
That's Rick Wright's old. That's Rick Wright's home.
Yeah,
Elizabeth City.
Yep.
Elizabeth City.
Rick Wright's in the daylight.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is that? Way up in eastern North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm about 30 minutes away from Chesapeake, about 45 minutes from Norfolk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
An hour from Virginia Beach.
Yeah. Northern.
About an hour from where the Wright brothers flew the first airplane.
Wow.
And,
How long you been?
I'm sure you remember that.
That's cool.
He was there. He was there.
Yeah, but you older than dirt.
That's
Hey.
cold, Joe.
Hey, Albert,
That was
get a better
cool.
phone. Will you get a better phone?
Albert, you don't have to take that because you're probably only 1 or 2 years older than I am, man. I'm 71. What are you?
Oh, he's
Right.
dropped off now.
Silence.
I'm 73. I'm 73.
Yep. Yeah, 73. He's 2 years older than I am. Yeah.
He goes to Bridget Selma. You talking about?
Yo,
Do you ever get in touch with Rick Sampson and you know any of those guys you were?
Yeah,
TP and Mike.
I spoke to Rick Sampson a few years ago. His brothers is always sending me information, religious stuff, a card and a religious book and stuff like that.
Oh, Larry sends that?
Yeah, I hear from him.
Uh-huh.
You spoke to Ozzy?
And Walt, Walt, I thought that you were related to that Braswell that played basketball for Syracuse University.
You know, a lot of people call me during the games and say that. And I say, you know, whenever he makes a basket, call me, you know, when he's scoring. Don't call me when he's just out there. You know. Nah, man. You know, he's I guess from he's Braswell, but there aren't too many Braswells, but I was hoping he would be related to me, but as of now, I don't know why. My father was from Vidalia, Georgia, and they said during one of the games what high school he was from, but it wasn't in Georgia. So, you know, I would doubt that there's any relation there.
No. Well, Walt, you still swimming or not?
Not competitively, man, but you know, we have a pool. We have our own pool and stuff.
Nice.
So I you know, I now that it's really gotten warm, like the water in our pool, the water is 91 degrees because it's so hot down here now.
Well,
and
yeah, he needs soap. Man, you need soap.
Well, wait a minute, you got a pool. You got a pool. You can do laps in your pool.
Yeah, we
No,
designed
man, he
it.
can't swim. Don't you know that meet we went to him and Rick Marable? Him and Rick Marable doing his relay race.
Yeah, him and Rick Marable and the swimmers.
Yeah.
And Bama cut up in there. And we got jacked up behind it. We got jacked up behind that one.
No, but
Yes,
instead of swimming, when I stopped swimming, I got heavily into competitive tennis.
Okay.
And
Right.
and you know, the same way, yeah, we built the tennis court in our yard in New Jersey, man. And I used to play night and day, and I would play tournaments. I won a lot of the tournaments up at the Vineyard for like 10 years and straight.
Nice.
And my wife was very competitive, and she was good. And so we did a lot of that. But then, you know, when our kids came along, then we kind of had to tone that kind of stuff down. And both of them are super athletes. My son was the starting point. My son was the starting point guard at Yale for 4 years. And my daughter went to Rutgers on a golf scholarship. And to this day, she is a tremendous, tremendous golfer. You know, so.
Oh, okay.
But that's what took up all of our time, which was fun, which was a lot of fun to watch that happen.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I also wonder you didn't hook up with like Harry, man, because Harry was up. Well, he was putt though. So
But he was putt. He was just putt, right?
He was putt.
He played
He
tennis for a
traveled around
while.
the country putting, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he got pretty good at it. He was telling me about a lot of the tournaments he won. Professional. He did it professionally.
Damn, really?
Yeah. He'd make some money in some of those events.
But but he played tennis also.
Yeah, I know. He was a decent tennis player. I saw him play.
Because his father was a tennis coach.
That's right.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Harry was a good athlete. He was good. He was pretty good.
Well,
He was a real good athlete.
His father had an association with Arthur Ashe.
Yep.
Oh.
Arthur. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but we went up, Steve, myself, and Frank drove up for his funeral, man. It was like,
sure.
man, they had him with all his sports stuff on.
Oh, really?
That's the way he wanted to go, man. He had all
Wow.
his sports hats and jerseys, and that's what he wanted. But
I wonder how his daughter's doing. He has a daughter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's doing pretty good. I
He
see
must be
her,
grown by now.
you know, on Facebook, and even then, every time we see him, it's like, Harry. My name ain't Harry. My name is Dennis. My name is Dennis.
He still got the account on Facebook.
Yeah,
His
his
daughter,
daughter.
comes on now and then.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, if he answered that account, I want to know something.
yeah. Well, so, But no, Harry was always, and you know what? Last time I saw him, it was like he was walking really bad. He said, "I need hips," you know. So he
had 2 hips done.
Hip replacements, you know.
Wow, way back then. Wow.
Yeah, well, and that's it, you know. And once he got those hips replaced, man, it was like he was a different man. And I can understand it because you know I got my right hip replaced, so
yeah,
you know I understand it, you know. But the prostate is still working, guys. The prostate is still working.
give it time. Give it time.
Give it time.
Wait a minute. Steve, you aren't saying you're using blue pills, are you?
Oh, shit.
That's a mess.
No, use the yellow ones. They're much better.
Jesus.
Yeah, brothers. But you know, like I said, you know, but I was able to call Dr. Ray, you know, on a Zoom with us tonight because like I say, he read us in, and we were his first line that he read in.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Oh, okay.
So to be known that you read him by a future Grand Basileus,
and he's known us for 50 years.
Ain't that something?
Yes, indeed. Brothers, I want to tell you something. On my way to being Grand Basileus, we were in Denver, Colorado, and I had just returned from Africa from the Charles Drew Fellowship. I was at the University of Ghana in West Africa. And when I got back, you didn't have to be dressed, of course, at that time to go on a conclave floor. So I had this purple dashiki, a huge afro. And I was on the floor of the conclave, and some stuff came up. Won't bore you with all the details now, but a whole bunch of stuff came up. And so I said, I can run the fraternity better than this. So I ran to the floor, and H. Carl Moultrie was running the meeting. And so when I approached the mic, H. Carl Moultrie said, "Brother, why do you approach the mic?" I said, "Brother Chair, considering what we just heard here today, Omega needs leadership. Therefore, I nominate myself for Grand Basileus."
Whoa.
And, the brother said, "I second that motion." So I got the nomination. And I got 3 votes in 19 at the Denver conclave. I got 3 votes. Ben voted for me. I voted for myself. And one other brother voted for me. So when I tell the young brothers all the time, you can see what perseverance would do. I said 30 years later.
Perseverance. That's it, man. You know, keep moving forward. I'm hoping all you brothers have been vaccinated.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? Because we're men of education, scholarship. We know we didn't want this thing, whatever it was.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Check that out.
Yeah, and I'm just sorry that Steve Schmidt just didn't get a chance to get vaccinated. You know, he had.
Did he die of the virus?
Yeah, he was in a COVID ward in the Bronx. You know.
Wow.
And,
I heard that he died, but I didn't know it was from the virus.
Yeah, well, he had he had some other issues. Yeah,
but he had a lot of pre-existing complications. So he was the worst person to have to battle COVID on top of it.
But that didn't stop him from going to a bicycle giveaway by Beta Alpha Alpha and you know, being the notary. You know, it didn't stop him. And I kept telling him, you know, lay low, my brother, lay low. You know, because we got to wait for this vaccine. You know. But you know, he was always just out there. You know, and I was always on his case. But we were on a call, and all of a sudden he you know, he hung up, and it was like, you know, and I tried to reach him, I couldn't reach him. So I asked a couple of brothers to check on him, you do a wellness check, and brother said, man, he was dehydrated, and it was like, man. So then one of the brothers from Kappa Omicron is a doctor in Westchester, and he went over there, and him and the vice basileus, who's a state trooper, threw him in the car and took him over to the hospital, man. And then down to Montefiore, where he had his kidney transplant, and they stuck him in a COVID ward. You know, I wanted to go down and see him, but they wouldn't let anybody in, not even family. You know, so. But yeah, that was one of those that you know, as much as you know, and you know, everybody here, you know, Omega is important, but you know, I always stress, man, your health is important, my brothers. You know, I want to keep you brothers around a long time. You know, I love you brothers every time I see you, man. And it's like yesterday, I could see you 2 years from now and to be like yesterday. You know, even brother Andrew Ray, I remember just, you know, on my knees while you were reading me in, and all of us saying, "Oh man, this is gonna be bad," you know. Touch that knife, and it was like,
well,
oh, man.
Joe, that's because after they tried to do the fake going over, we weren't buying it. We weren't. we wanted to see documentation.
Oh man, no lie, I remember that.
They faked us out. They faked us out.
And then Andrew said, "Welcome to Omega." We're like, yeah,
you're right.
Exactly.
What's going on?
What year was your line?
71.
You guys were 71. And Steve Schmidt, though, was before that.
70. He was 70.
Yeah, he was 70. Yeah, we went over in 68.
Right.
So who was it? What line was after mine?
None.
No, no. Who was that?
Well, Soul Survived. That would have been
none.
No, that was Archie Clifford.
No, brothers. Hold it.
That was the fall line, but you went over in the spring of 68. That was the beginning of it. May 68.
Right.
Oh, that's right. We went over. So you guys were 68. We were 69. And then when was?
No, you're 68.
That was the fall line.
They went over in the spring. You went over in the fall.
Wait a minute. No. We went over. When we went over, it was in the. That's right. It was around Christmas time.
In the fall. That's right. Yes.
In the fall of 68. That's right.
And then there was no 69 line because Bozzy beat everybody offline. That's what happened. That's what happened. You want the story. Bozzy beat everybody offline, so there wasn't no 69 line.
Oh, okay. And then what? Steve Schmidt was the line after that.
Steve Schmidt and Schmidt and them came on, and he got rid of almost everybody from there, but Schmidt.
Yeah, he went over by himself.
That's why you made him the DP for us, because you knew we was on the last leg with him. So that's why you made him a DP for us. This way he couldn't jack us up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the chapter would have folded at that point had we not gone over.
Yeah. Wow.
Steve was it.
That was some critical points in the fraternity in terms of like getting our lines and the continuation of everything.
Yeah. Well, our DB was Ron Davidson, Dr. Davidson.
Ron was a dean of pleasures for that line.
Yeah, and what happened with Rod? We got fed up with him, man. We just couldn't, we felt that he wasn't protecting us anymore from the big brothers. So one night we said, we're gonna pay this motherfucker back. So we went and got him. We put a pillowcase over his head, tied it up, put him in the back of a car, and we took him out to the woods and left him there.
Get out of here!
And I'm serious. Left him in the woods. Left him in the woods, man. About 5 miles from campus. What? So he somehow got his way back, and from that point on, they busted our butts every night.
I bet they did.
He just stood there and watched. He said, "Yeah, you don't think I was helping you before?" He said, "Fuck you guys now." We used to call him. We called him bird shit bitch. That's what we were saying. Bird shit bitch. That's what you are.
So it took us 50 years to hear this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's an Omega chapter looking down on that, man.
I'm sure.
It is what it is.
That's right.
That's wild, man. That's wild.
Boy.
Brother Ray.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
You were Grand Basileus, and you were very active coming up through the district in particular. How did Kappa chapter measure up in terms of an undergraduate chapter over the years that you've seen it versus, other chapters?
In this area of the country, I think Kappa chapter has stood out in a very positive way. Not only the fun and the kinds of things that we do on the side, but also, as I said, academically, to be the academic chapter 2 years, 3 years in a row, and the highest GPA and all those kind of honors the chapter has achieved. That in itself says a lot about the character of the leadership that I think Brother Ben has provided for the undergrads. He's had to take some tough stands. He had to suspend some people. And of course, I backed him up on that because that had to happen to save the chapter. People were putting the chapter in jeopardy, and we had to take some action to make sure the Kappa chapter would continue. And so Ben has been a stalwart in that. And ever since he dropped the negative life that he was leading before, he's
Say what?
He hasn't dropped shit. I'm telling you right now.
Anyway, he isn't wearing a minister's collar, is he?
See, what happens is compared to the early days when his shit was all out there, he's just perfected it now. He's perfected it so much, he comes to you in a suit, but it's the same old Ben. He's sharp now. He's sharp. He's GQ all the time.
We're all living our dreams through Ben.
That's wild. That's wild.
He's still a hitchhiker in his heart.
Brother Roger, though, he's really done a good job, though. He has really led that chapter. And he's due to his experiences, he's seen everything the chapter tries to pull. All kinds of shenanigans they try to get away with, Ben has seen them all. And so he knew it. And so he was able to keep them on the straight and narrow all this time. They've never been suspended. They basically have not cost the fraternity any money at all. And that is really a positive thing to say. And also, it's a tribute to the men who came before. You guys who really laid the foundation before. You really left a template that Ben has used to advise and lead the chapter as we go forward now. So I've been glad to, basically it's been an asset to me. Have been as my assistant. We've traveled all over the world. And my brothers, I'll share this with you. We were in Europe, we were in London. And we were there, we established the first chapter of a black fraternity, black or white, on the university campus in London. And when we got there, we got to the hotel. There was a lady sitting in the lobby waiting for Ben in London. Now, that is God true.
Was that Margaret Thatcher?
Margaret Thatcher.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Margaret. It wasn't Iron Lady. It wasn't Margaret Thatcher. But that was. But really, this is the honest truth. I had to just look aghast. I said, I don't believe this. But she walked up when we were registering for our rooms. She walked over and Ben introduced her to me. She was a flight attendant on one of the airlines, and she had flown to London to meet Ben. Yes.
Hey, brothers, what can I say?
So that says it all, my brothers. Rodney, that says it all for Kappa chapter.
The answer
he kept the tradition alive. He kept the tradition alive.
Hey, I tell
look,
you,
before I forget, we got to celebrate. Bama, a grandfather is our.
That's right. Pop.
Right?
You
got your first grand
from.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
Yep.
Right.
Fantastic.
First grandchild, man.
Yeah.
So
What
hey,
are they?
I'm happy as a pig in the
Yeah. What is it? Boy,
it's
girl,
Kimberly,
what?
it's Kimberly's baby.
young girl, Kimberly. Yeah.
Kimberly. What about
All
John?
right.
Anything going on with John?
No, it's my first grandchild, man. First grandchild.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm just tickled, man. It's crazy. So, and right in the middle of this stupid pandemic. So, and everybody's well.
Let me tell you something. You a first time grandfather. We're gonna tell her all the stories. You know that, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're not gonna fool her into thinking that you're the low key grandpa. We gonna tell her all the stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Pop. He all right though.
Yeah,
I tell you, man.
So is that what they're gonna call you, Pop, or just old man?
Poppy.
Poppy, okay.
Can't see.
Oh, okay.
She came. When was she born? It's just recently, right?
April,
yeah.
April 21st.
Yeah.
April 21st, right?
She's not 30
Wow.
days old yet.
Fantastic.
A month old yet.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
All right.
As long as you don't have your face, you'll be fine.
There you go, man. There you go. I'm just
Yeah.
happy, man. That's good. That's great. That's great. And so, hey,
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up with Rodney, man. Rodney's got grandchildren coming out his ears, man.
Right.
How many you have, Rodney?
Just to
Two, yeah.
Just
When
two.
you all were talking about Kappa chapter having that stuff with academics, we had the highest average on campus of all the Greeks, and that was before we even had a final. In terms of papers, the white guys could always say, "Hey, I need a paper on this subject."
Yeah.
We didn't have that, but we still had the highest accune on campus.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yep. Spending all that time in the library, man. In the library.
Like I
Well,
say,
that's Elbert holding down the math. That's Davidson holding down the chemistry because
Yeah.
he tutored us in chemistry.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's right.
yep, you know, and like
Ozzy tutored us in English, man.
And I tutored in English.
That's right. He was an English major.
old English. Old English.
Ozzy helped me write my final paper for English. He sure
all
did.
right.
Wow.
Yeah. In between drinking Danish Copenhagen cherry.
But yeah, but like Dr. Ray said, you know, Kappa chapter has done well over the past 5-6 years. I mean, we've been the district scholarship chapter of the year 4 years in a row, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And we've been the district chapter of the year two years in a row, 19 and 20. So in 19, we cleaned up. We took everything could be gotten, we got it, including advisor of the year, advisor year 17 and 19. So we cleaned up.
Is the chapter like the strongest Black fraternity on campus? What are the other Black fraternities doing?
Well,
They got a lot of on campus. They even have
they got
Hispanic
them all now.
fraternities, man.
yeah.
They have what?
Hispanic fraternities, you know.
Oh yeah.
Listen, if I know what I know now, I could have been a founder, you know. Started those boys out right, you know.
No, Joe Cruz, we claim you, buddy. We're gonna drag you to hell.
That's right, Joe. You're not getting away from us,
Listen,
bro.
if we had known, we would have started the Hispanic and kicked your ass out. You know? It's true.
I would have taken you brothers in because
No way,
you know,
man. No way.
all you are Puerto Ricans anyway.
I would have drugged Joe Cruz out and said, "No, you belong to us, Joe Cruz. No way."
Yeah. No, and see, and then but we had Mario the same way. Remember when Joe Brown was the treasurer for the Alphas and stole the money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
boy.
Cause they had their house over there on Euclid, a nice house on Euclid. Yep. And Joe Brown stole the money.
How are those?
And he lost it.
How are those other fraternities doing? The Kappas and the Alphas, are they viable, or I mean, what's going on with the other fraternities?
On campus.
Everybody's pulling from the same pot.
Yeah, because when I came up for the coming back together, last one, I went to I saw you guys. I saw Ben at the affair they had down on Euclid or wherever at the Black Museum.
Okay.
They had a meeting, and I was
Right.
impressed, man. They had like 50, 60 brothers there. I mean, that was a real nice turnout of folks.
Yeah.
So the chapter
You
must
talking
be
about
doing.
you talking about for all the fraternities, Walter?
No, that was just cues, man. They had something at the Black Museum.
Yeah.
And it was a really large turnout. And then
okay.
they
Yeah,
started
I saw
passing-
you there. I read that. I saw you there.
Yeah, and they started passing around a hat, and this one brother got up and gave $500 and this and that. Man, I'm just saying, these guys.
Part of the deal too, Walt, to be real honest with you, is when we had come back together, the brothers were talking about they wanted to have a set out. And some of my brothers was alluding that they wanted to go in the treasury. And I told them, no, we ain't going in the treasury. I said, here is you motherfuckers got them 6-figure jobs and y'all want to take money from kids who ain't got nothing. Because see, when it comes down time to go to the conclave and go to the district conference and all that kind of stuff, they ain't nowhere to be found. I said, no, if you want to have a set out with liquor and food, send some money up here.
That's
And the brothers
right.
got together and they sent up some money. So
Yeah.
that was the thing, but there were a few brothers talk about, well, they should have a set out. No, them days is over. Not as long as I'm around. Them days is
Yeah.
over.
And if you think about these undergraduates trying to get in, man, they got to come up with like $4,000.
Well, it ain't quite that much, but it's 1,700.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you
really?
figure-
The pledge to frat, you got to come up with $1,700 now?
Yes, sir. Because-
Undergraduates.
Yeah,
Undergraduates.
because right now you're paying 3 years national dues, 3 years district dues, 3 years local dues. You're
Wow.
paying for your pen, 2 pens. You're paying for district conference registration, and you're paying for insurance. So 1,700. And if you will come into the grad chapter, I mean, and I always have we got cheap dues. Our dues is $10 a month because we don't own property. So that's almost $2,500 for the coming to a grad chapter.
Yeah.
So
So
like-
Times have changed a little bit.
yeah, well, down here in New York, man, it's $4,000. So
Yeah, because y'all got
Or
to pay house
really?
dues.
that's right. You want to get in the graduate chapter, it's $4,000. Undergraduates, and think about all the stuff we did as undergraduates trying to raise money, even for our first gala, man, trying to get that off the ground.
Yep.
You know,
Wow.
we all got degrees in scuffling.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's something.
well, and I guess when Walter Elbert went over, it was like $100.
Yeah, and we were bitching about that, man.
It was less than that because we had paid for 65, so it was less than that.
Yeah. I didn't have the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But remember, all we paid there was 1 year's chapter dues,
That's right.
1 year's district dues, 1 year's national dues. You're booking your pen. That was it. You
Yeah.
didn't pay no insurance. You
Well,
didn't pay
that's why they invented Q Punch.
Yep.
At 50 cents a
right.
cup.
We had
Q
that,
Punch at 50 cents a cup.
and we had the after hour at the frat house. You know,
Yep.
with
Yeah.
And
with
we
the
would
machine
drive we drive over the border in Pennsylvania and buy the grain alcohol,
Yeah.
bring it back and mixing that punch.
and if it wasn't for John Ricks holding on to that money, man, we wouldn't have
I
any
know,
money.
That's exactly right.
We'd have been
That's
broke.
exactly right.
We'd have been broke, man. But Bama was a good treasurer, boy. I mean, a good house manager.
That boy can squeeze a penny. I'm telling you.
No, but he had
Never
to,
got
man, because
evicted from the house.
he
Yeah, that's
had
right,
to,
never got evicted.
or we'd have been in trouble. He had to.
Yeah, as much as we banged on the door saying we got to get Mario out, give us some money, John said that's not my problem.
Mario's on his own.
Y'all gonna be homeless people, man.
Yeah, he closed that door and said, "I'm
But-
not opening up the door. This is
Nah,
rent
but-
money."
But he's a real good house manager, because if not, man, we'd have been in trouble. We'd have been in
Oh
trouble.
yeah, that's it, man. That was the treasurer, man.
And see, I tell you, because when Mario came out, me and Joe was gonna go see him and take him out, get a meal, because when he came out, I called all of y'all and gave y'all his number. Y'all called him and talked to him.
Yep.
And because I got his information at district conference, so that may have been the last weekend in April. We was up in Buffalo. I was home for Mother's Day. I said I'll be home for Mother's Day, and we'll go do something. By the time I got home, he was back in.
Mm.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
He was back in.
But I'm thinking it's drugs. Mario was never. I mean, he
wasn't violent. He wasn't
things,
violent.
but, yeah, he wasn't that type. But but still, man, he just couldn't be there. And his father was a New York City detective.
No lie.
No
Really?
kidding.
Wait a minute.
Really?
Wait a minute. Hey, y'all, remember the time when they pronounced Mario and Roy Hines dead?
Yes.
Yes.
They pronounced them dead. They pronounced them dead. They brought him back to life.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, they pronounced them dead, man. They were getting high. They pronounced them dead.
Yep.
Whoa.
OD, man. They brought him back.
They brought him back to life.
Was he up in Syracuse at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is undergraduate, man. But hey, listen, I'm telling you, we're talking about Ben would walk into a room after drinking some wild Irish rose or something and go up to the biggest white guy and punch him out. And we all have to back him up.
Oh man. Well,
But no, that's why I said you know, I guess we still hear from Archie Gilchrist.
Yeah. In fact, we saw Archie the other day on a Zoom call.
On a Zoom call,
And,
yeah.
and, you know, and I see Archie, you know, like when we travel to the West Coast, I see Archie at the district meetings.
Yeah.
So he's active. In fact, you know, Archie pledged Ricky Lewis, the first vice grand. Yeah, Archie was his DP.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. And then, of course, you know, I tried talking to Roger, but he's gone mad.
No,
So
I ain't talking to Roger.
Roger,
Okay.
Yeah.
Roger has gone mad. Warren Jones.
Yeah, Roger think he's Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my Lord.
Yeah.
What?
That boy's gone mad. I'm telling you.
He Republican too. He want to be Republican.
Yeah.
Wow.
He wants to be like that boy from South Carolina, Scott.
And Scott,
Uncle Tim.
Uncle Tim.
That was sad, man. Now if I could have put my foot through the television, I would have when he got up there. He said he's got a serious problem.
Yeah, well,
Serious
that's why I
problem.
said so. I mean, even Roger was trying to convert Frank, and Frank is not a convertible person. Frank is not a Republican. So that's why I said, so when Scott was saying that America's not racist, where you been living? You must be living in a box.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That
is
is
crazy.
crazy.
Brother Walt.
Yeah.
Since we're talking current events, let me ask you this question, judicial question.
All right, man. Whoa. We don't need to get on politics here, man.
Yeah, current events, real quick, short one. All of these voter suppression laws, would they have been blocked if we had Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act still in play?
Exactly. And that's why you got to pass the new act, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's a disgrace that they got away with doing away with that. That's just an absolute disgrace that after all the shit that's taken place with Jim Crow and all this stuff, you know, goddamn 100 years.
And I got my ass beat by state troopers for that whole thing. I was part of the Evans Cousins Bridge march, man.
You wouldn't say
kicked by state troopers, and the motherfuckers changed the law.
it's unbelievable. We got to get this new legislation through.
Yeah.
But the only way though that can be done is we got to do away with the filibuster, because the filibuster right now is just it's crazy that the Republicans can stop whatever Biden wants to do in terms of legislation like that.
They're not going to get rid of the
They're not
filibuster.
going to do away with the filibuster. That's not going to happen.
Well, I don't know.
They're going to have to find some way to sweeten the pot for one or two Republicans.
Yeah.
Who they feel that they can help them get reelected, but they're not going to do with the filibuster.
Either that, or they're just going to have to get some people out and vote. People, they're going to have to turn some out. They're going to turn some Senate seats, just like they turned Georgia. That's the only way.
Right.
They got to get 60 votes. I mean, you got to think about it. The House used to be, Senate used to be practically all Democratic.
Yep.
You know, and it changed. So they just got to get people out to vote.
That's exactly right. They've got to basically go and get a couple more Senate seats, because you can't count on Manchin.
You can't count
on him.
Yeah.
So they've got to increase that margin by a couple more Senate seats. But going after the filibuster, that's not going to happen. Not with McConnell there. It's not going to happen.
No, he already said that.
Even Joe Biden said he don't want to. Even Joe Biden said he don't want to do it.
Go ahead.
Walt, what is the Constitution? How does that work as far as increasing the number of Supreme Court justices?
Okay, that can be.
The United States can unilaterally do on its own.
That's just a road. That's just a night. That's a minefield.
That's a minefield.
But no, you can do it. My understanding of it is that there's nothing in the Constitution that addresses how many members there are in the Supreme Court.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So because there isn't any number, the mechanics of increasing the number, I'm not sure. It's been tried before. You know,
it's been done before.
Yeah. Well, during Roosevelt, they tried to pack the court, and so there've been times when they've done it. So I think it can be done, and and
But
can't
y'all-
be
but-
stopped.
What y'all gotta do is walk Clarence Thomas in front of a bus.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the easy way. That's the easy way to straighten it out.
Yeah,
mean,
that's
what
the
a
easy.
coon.
That's
He's a real
Brother Ray.
coon. You know, what an
Brother Ray.
asshole. What and to think that he's been on the bench for damn near 25 years,
damn.
and for the first 20 years he never opened his mouth.
Never talked. Never
Right.
Can
talked.
you imagine that? That this fool sat there for 20 years and didn't say a word?
That's incredible.
He was just
It
collecting
really
the
is
paycheck.
incredible.
Just collecting the paycheck. That's it.
All. That's all.
I
That's
got
all.
never respect for Clarence Thomas.
There's
Brother
no
Ray,
reason to have any respect for him.
Brother Ray.
Yes, sir.
Brother Ray,
Yes, sir.
I've noticed that a lot of brothers who are in this public eye, like Claiborne, I didn't know he was a Q until I saw an interview,
Yeah.
and he had his symbol sitting behind him on the desk. I didn't know Ben Crump was a Q.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at
That
the
popped out.
yeah, he was at the KO gala and
Yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and
Yeah.
they invited him to speak.
Well,
He-
I raised the issue because we were talking about recruitment, trying to encourage more college students to join our chapter at Kappa chapter. And I was thinking about one of the ways that impressed me when I was coming in was the fact that we had to research who Qs were. So we found out who some of the Qs were in society that were good role models. If we just look at our chapter history, there's brothers that came through our chapter that are outstanding citizens. I was just wondering how we could, as a fraternity, capitalize on some of this that maybe a lot of us don't know, to help us with the kind of role models of men that we're looking for to join the fraternity.
Well, one thing that I've been doing since my term has been up as Grand, I've been working tirelessly with the Supreme Council and with the Grand. Like you're saying that you didn't know Clyburn was a Q, and during my administration, we did a lot for Clyburn that he could not do due to his position, but we did some things for him. But I did say to the Grand and to the Supreme Council that we have got to elevate the brothers among us who have done and are doing great things. For example, not only do we have Brother Clyburn, who is basically a kingmaker, because if it hadn't been for his nomination,
No Clyburn, no Biden. That's right.
And no Kamala Harris.
That's right.
There'd have been no Kamala Harris. So
Yeah,
basically, Clyburn is a kingmaker. And I shared this. By the way, you will see, I think in this issue coming up, Clyburn's going to be a feature coming up. But I had to work, and Ben has been following. Ben is tuned into everything that I'm doing, and we've been working with this for months to say you got to do this, because Clyburn basically, that's history. The new history book is coming out. And we've been trying to press the history committee that not only were we the first fraternity to engage Barack Obama, because my first official duty as Grand Basileus was to sign the MOU with the White House and with Obama. And during the centennial, if you guys were there, Obama came down to the convention center, and he came down just in a specific manner to thank the Omegas for the efforts that we had put forth with the Fatherhood Initiative. And that's history. Not only the first African-American president, but we're also responsible for the first female and Black vice president also. And as for a history book, you can't say that should not be part of our history. So we're having some internal pushbacks back and forth, but I am pressing very hard to say that it has to be part of Omega's history. So when you begin to tell a history that features men who have really been of substance, men who have done things, men who have done things for humanity, for our people. That is history. And so it's important that we just not be featured as the brothers who throw the best parties, the brothers who can step the best. It's important that we look at Omega at another level. And so we have been working on that. As a matter of fact, Ben put forth a very, what I thought was a very fine idea. The new history book is supposed to come out in 22 at the conclave in Charlotte. Ben suggested to the Grand on his trip to China. Now, I ain't gonna get into what Ben was doing in China, but he
It wasn't eating Chinese food, I hope.
It was eating Chinese food.
Did he have a woman waiting for him at the hotel?
Not China,
on the
bro.
way to China.
Almost. I was working on it.
He suggested to the Grand, which was a great thing. He said, instead of most of us got, I don't know how many bags and pens and all kinds of things we get at these conclaves. Ben suggested, why don't we make the new history book a gift for all the brothers? And then set aside a room where all of the living Grand Basileus can sign the new history books for the brotherhood.
Nice.
This will be the first official history book of Omega since the 60s.
Wow.
That's when the last official history book was put forth for the fraternity. And you can't allow big gaps in time because you end up with multiple people got multiple visions and versions of what happened.
Right.
So you can't have a documented history if you wait that long. Too much passes over a 40-year period of time.
Their memories
Too
go
much
haywire.
Exactly. And we have found that to be true. So we are still working very hard to make certain that we begin to feature, Brother Rodney, those brothers who have done yeoman's work for this fraternity. Even with the brothers who are high profile, so to speak. A number of people think that they're all flash and they got the money and they just run around doing things. But when you look at the work recently, even with Michael Jordan, he put up $100 million to support Black causes. $100 million. Jack has put up millions of dollars supporting our people. We went down to the Mississippi Delta, and he covered the expenses for feeding 800 families in the Mississippi Delta. And see, people think that these guys just play ball or they just do things. Melvin Jenkins, they brought in 3 or 4 18-wheelers in Philadelphia too, and brought coats and gloves and boots and all kinds of things for the kids who needed that in Philadelphia. These guys are doing some great things. And what we have been trying to do, Ben, along with myself and Scrap and a few other brothers, we have been trying to wake up fraternity leadership to say, look, you got to begin not only to just document it, but you got to share it, brotherhood, so as brothers will have the true vision of what Omega Men do. So we are working on that, Brother Rodney. We are still pushing. We are still trying to make it happen. One thing that we did, hoping it'll be in the history book, we went down to the Space Center down in Florida. And what I didn't know until I got there, one of our brothers, Brother Lawrence, was inducted into the Astronaut Hall of Fame. This brother, they explained to us, all the astronauts came, and they explained that this brother was a key in the shuttle program because the shuttle doesn't operate off a motor. It's the glide path that comes in. And he helped to come up with the engineering that allowed the shuttle to come out of orbit and safely land as you see it when it comes out of orbit. That was a brother. That was an Omega Man.
Wow.
Now, people don't know that, but people don't know that. See, those kinds of things is what we have been fighting for. And we have been fighting. We talked to a brother who was 108, been 108 years old.
Yeah. Brother Reed. Yeah.
Brother Reed.
He
was a MD.
Yeah, 104. Yeah.
104. He was an MD,
Mm-hmm.
and he shared with us. He says his science teacher when he was in college was Ernest Everett Jeffs.
Wow.
That was his science teacher.
Yep.
And we also found out that this brother had the highest score on the medical exam of anybody, black or white,
In North Carolina. Mm-hmm.
in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And people never knew that.
Right.
A brilliant brother. And he walked us through a lot of things that he shared. Hildrix Pondexter, his work on Swampfoot that saved the soldiers who got in the marshes and their feet were rotten, were basically coming off due to a rot. And that was a brother. And so all of these kinds of historical facts, we have been trying to make certain that the leadership captures that and share that with the brothers so we can get out of this foolishness that a lot of brothers get into. Like for the gold boots. Oh, they're because Colonel Young was walking in the desert and he got sand over his boots. That's how we got the gold boots. You know, stuff makes no damn sense. So if you don't, and you know, basically, if you don't tell your history, someone else will tell it for you.
Mhm.
And so we have got to do a better job in telling that history. That's what we've been working on since we left office. We have been really pushing hard, still working in an advisory capacity to have the brotherhood leadership to really be focused on really not showboating, but just making a complete showcase for Omega men who have made a difference.
Has that been formalized to put that together? I mean,
yes, they're working. The history book is coming up for review later on this year, and that history book review, I'm sure it's going to be some tension back and forth because some people want to cut the history book off at the centennial, before the centennial. And a number of things have happened since. We can't let this moment of a black vice president and Clyburn, you know, basically making sure that Biden won, because he hadn't won a damn thing before he got to Carolina, and Clyburn endorsed him. So those kinds of things we can't let go.
Right.
And so we are trying to capture those. And so hopefully some of this will make it to the history book. But again, we didn't have time to do it all.
Who's writing the book? Who's putting the book together?
There's a committee. Yeah, the Grand has a history committee. There's a full history committee. They have been researching, and they've been at Howard University, looking at some of the historical artifacts that Howard University has about the Omega and the founders and so on. So the history committee, there's a history committee that's working to do it, but it's got to be approved by the Supreme Council, and that'll be the test. The Supreme Council will have to say it's a go, it's not a go, or whatever.
But in addition to having a book, have you guys considered maybe having something like a profile column just in the Oracle so that it could be more readily accessible than as opposed to having it all in one book? Just to have a column where you profile one brother every issue.
That's something we have a new editor to the Oracle now. And so a younger brother, so we may be able to get some of those things. That I think that's an excellent idea. And this you will see at the next issue of the Oracle. It's supposed to be featuring the work of Clyburn and some of the other outstanding persons who have done some things to help get us to this point. And hopefully that'll become a common feature of our publications, that we just don't do it periodically, but there should be enough Omega men are doing enough that we can feature an Omega man almost every month or every issue. Every issue we could do that, because we have men who are doing some outstanding thing.
It doesn't have to rise to the level of the space shuttle. I mean, you got brothers out there. I can't imagine that there aren't enough Omega men who have been doing distinguished things that would be worthy of being featured in an Oracle magazine, in an Oracle issue. Just a profile.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could have had a Ron Davidson in an Oracle profile.
Oh yeah.
For the kinds of things that he did, he pioneered in alternative medicine.
That's right.
So,
I mean, absolutely. I totally agree with you.
He was
I
into
told him,
holistic medicine before I even knew how to pronounce it.
That he was
You
into
know.
it before it was popular.
Yeah, I know.
But you know,
Yeah.
but the problem.
Yeah, that was big for Ron.
Yeah,
He
but the problem
pioneered that
is
stuff
you guys.
Yeah.
down in Chinatown in New York.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you got to know about it in order to put it out there. You got to know about it. See, and you got to know that the person is an Omega man. That's that's part.
Well, that's right. That's true.
Too, you know.
We decided before we left office, we asked that remain in place a feed-in feature where every district representative will be responsible for sharing with IHQ in digital fashion, not just a written piece of paper, but in digital fashion, what is going on, who brothers are standout personnel in the various districts.
Excellent.
Now, since we have left office, that project was not carried on. We was see this is another issue that we have had, and that is that the history or whatever you're doing should not just fade away. I often told the brothers while in office that our life is a relay race, and whenever you run a relay race, you just have to run your leg of the race to the best of your ability. But there will be a time you're going to have to hand off. And when you hand off, you can't miss the handoff, because if you miss the handoff, not only do you lose, but the whole team loses. And so we have been saying that that's what we have to do. We have to have that kind of mentality as we go forward, that we run our leg of the race, even if we are behind. You make up the stagger and you try to put the team in a position to win. And that's the attitude that we have to have. And I'll share this with you, brothers, because you should know this. And I've said this in open fashion in conclave. Too often we had people who were immersed in self-aggrandizement. We had leaders who took the pomp and circumstance of being an officer, a grand officer, a leader in the fraternity, to be a personal thing. And it's not. The brothers give you the honor of service. You don't just inherit it. It's not something that you are owed. The brothers make that possible. And so with that being the case, we have to have a mentality that we owe the brothers to lead to the best of our ability. And that's something that we have been knocking on the door and trying to make a permanent feature in what we do in this fraternity.
Amen.
And we have to continue to push.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow,
Agreed.
that's outstanding, man. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, my
well,
brothers, listen.
And we have lost. And one quick thing.
You
Okay.
gotta go, Bam.
Yeah, I gotta run, man.
All right, my brother, man.
Okay.
It's great seeing
Good seeing you, man. Take care,
Okay.
man.
All right, you take care now. Thanks. Good
All
for
right.
the good conversation.
yeah,
Hey,
and
right, my
stay
brother.
healthy,
Take
Bama.
care.
Stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
indeed.
You hear me? Stay healthy, man. We'll see you
I
at
will.
CP.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Enjoy that first grandchild.
Absolutely. She's gonna be spoiled riding.
I know you are.
I just had my first two. My
All
daughter
right.
had
All right.
my
Are you
daughter had a
serious?
son.
When
My
was
daughter
that?
had a son, and my son had a daughter.
Ain't that so?
When was that, Walter?
What's that?
When was that? How
Oh,
recently?
my son, my granddaughter was born in April a year ago, and my grandson was born in May.
Wow.
His birthday is a week from now, so they're both a year old.
Okay.
Where are
Congrats.
they? Where are they? Your kids?
My daughter lives in Briarcliff Manor in Westchester County,
Yeah.
and my son lives in Manhattan.
Walt, turn
Started
your
his
light on
own.
so I can take a picture, Walt. I can't see it.
Oh, I kind of moved the.
Just a second. I just want to take a picture. Hold on, Bama. All right, I got everybody.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And so my son, both of them were in finance. My daughter was at Goldman Sachs for 10 years. Then she left and went to a private equity firm for 3 years. And now she's at a company called Russell Williams, which is a recruiting firm. So, that's what she's doing. And then my son was at Goldman for 3 years, and he left and started his own business that has done tremendous. If you go online, the name of the company is called Jopwell, Jopwell. You can look it up. They have 60 employees. doing really well. What it is a recruiting service for Black students, throughout the country. So they have like over 150,000 online, applicants that they can supply to Fortune 500 companies for special jobs all around the country, all around the world, actually.
That's good. That's great, man. That's great.
And the company has done spectacular. He also does a radio show, Harvard Business Review. Retained him, so he does a radio show for Harvard Business Review weekly, and but a whole host of things. But so both of them have done really well. It's kind of fun to watch it happen.
Yeah.
So John, start saving up to send that grand baby to Syracuse, because it's going to be 100,000.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm already signed up to be like a alumni rep to get us, make sure she can get in school. I got
by now they must have a Rick's building or auditorium by now.
Well, my kids are third generation Syracuse.
Oh really?
Yeah, my stepmother went to Syracuse. I went to Syracuse. Then of course my two kids went to Syracuse.
Okay.
Wow.
Your mother went to Syracuse?
You got your whole family.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
You're second generation Syracuse?
Yes, I am.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
I always wondered where someone from Alabama wound up in the Northeast.
We always wondered that. How the hell?
You should have been at Tougaloo someplace.
To the Winter Wonderland and survived that. That's exactly right.
No wonder John was always home.
You ought to take a look. You notice the number of brothers in Syracuse from Alabama? Elbert English, me, Ham.
And Ham. Right,
Ham.
3.
All from Alabama, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
And we didn't have to have a passport no matter what Ozzy says.
I always thought you came out of the same apartment complex.
I've been down. No, not now. I've been
The same cotton field. Yeah.
I was in Birmingham in 08.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Birmingham in 08.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. You still got family down there, Bama?
Yeah. I still got a brother down there. Still got family.
Damn. So listen, I'm telling you, that tuition is going to be astronomical. So you better start.
Man, let me tell you something. I had 2 kids in Syracuse at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
It put me. That's the reason why I'm still working today.
Let me tell you something. But
you're going to be working until you're 85.
To transition.
No, man. Next year I'm gone.
You need to transition to become a professor of engineering, so the grands go for free.
Yeah,
absolutely. I always wondered why you were eating peanut butter and jelly this whole time.
All right, man. I gotta go there, y'all.
Take care, man.
Take care, man.
Take care, my brother. Stay healthy.
Well, listen, this has really been a joy. Ben, I'm so glad you were able to get Brother Ray to join us.
That was great.
We got. I sent
Braswell and English.
I sent Brother Torres an invite because he's been doing some artwork for our line, and he has been, as I know, hanging out with Joe in the city, stayed involved, and I appreciate that. I wanted to make sure that he had an opportunity to share some time with us.
Can we see that painting behind him to see if it really looks like Ben, or?
You're working on it.
Wow, that's nice.
I don't know. Ben's got a certain look.
Can you see it?
That's Ben Jeffers.
Wow.
Where'd he get all that white hair from?
For being the district representative. And
Andrew Ray, you got one too.
Yes, I do. Yes. Well, Torres gave me one too. I have one of those.
I got one right here.
As well.
Frank Torres. A Frank Torres original.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you know what? 50 years, it kind of went fast, but you know what? I still feel like I've known you brothers as of yesterday. I mean, You know, as I say, just kneeling, getting ready to go over, and then take the hood off and look up and see Andrew Ray, and you know, Rodney, myself, and Moses kicking and screaming, "You coming over or we're not going over? You're coming
Wow.
to this no matter what."
Yeah.
And you know, Elbert English and you know, Walt Braswell, and then those of us that made those behind us, you know. So
Yeah.
uh but 50 years, my brothers, has flown past pretty fast. So think about it, stay
It's
healthy,
scary.
man.
It's scary how
scary.
fast it's gone by.
Yeah.
It is. It
So I
is.
guess maybe the next time we could get together would be at CBT, man, you know.
That's September?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully by
September.
then this thing will be behind us, and
Hopefully.
then we'll crash at Ben's house. Andrew,
A
And
crust in the corner.
I'm sure Andrew got a reservation.
Bring a gallon
You
of milk.
know?
Bring a gallon of milk.
I gotta tell you this story.
You know, may I suggest that if we don't all get up to the next coming back together, because I'm not sure if I will, but be up there, but that we try this again,
Yeah.
maybe in 6 months before that event.
Absolutely.
And to encourage people to come, number one, but for those who aren't going to come, it'd be a good way to you know, to connect.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Well, this was a small group because it was our 50th. And we did reach out. We asked Elbert to reach out, and you guys reached out to Ozzy and Mike. Tom Pryor, I communicated with him. I thought he was going to be on so that we could get, you know, some fellowship with some of the guys that helped bring us in. But what we're organizing is an online, well, for now, it'll be online, I guess even afterwards, because it's one of the best ways to get together with folks.
Yeah.
And reduce your carbon footprint with this technology. But we're going to try to do a periodic Kappa chapter Zoom social get together and some actually face-to-face events planned more regularly outside of CBT per se. It's going to be focusing on Kappa chapter alum and those who hung out with us, whether they came through Kappa chapter or not, but were affiliated in some way with us down the road. So we can begin to socialize a little bit more. One of the things we talked about doing, Brother Ray and Brother Walt, Brother English, is trying to create a database of Kappa chapter alums and affiliated brothers, with an easy way to search for the discipline or expertise they may have, particularly to help the young brothers coming out of undergrad at Kappa chapter, maybe to find a bridge to the next step in their career and their life. Something we want to do as alumni coming out of Syracuse University in the frat. When we've done a couple of Zooms, right, Ben? We've done a couple of Zooms, right, Steve? I'm amazed at the number of folks, one, that have come since we joined, number one. The numbers, unbelievable. But what was really more amazing was when we talked about 50 years, we had a young guy on, and he said, yeah, Little Rascals, Littles. I remember the name, but I never met you. But he got to meet me virtually. So I said all to simply say, with technology now, Brother Ray, there's some things that we can do that we couldn't do in the past. But I'm just excited that the brothers who have graduated from Kappa Chapter Syracuse are driven to try to keep us closer together before we wind up going to everybody's funeral.
Yeah.
We go to Omega.
Yeah.
Before we hit that Omega chapter, that's for sure. Because I hate to say it, my brothers, but everybody here has either got a prostate issue, a hip issue, a shoulder issue, high blood pressure, you know, all of it. But
Surviving cancer. I was surviving cancer.
that too, you know, that's why I said it. So it's important that we do this more often. You know, us old heads have to stick together, man. It's important. So
why don't we all agree that we'll do this again, and that each of us will make an effort to get 5 more brothers involved in a Zoom call like this.
Okay.
You know what? The only thing about
I second it.
that sounds good, but I think we need to keep it like the 70s brothers. You don't you when you go
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
far down.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be easy. I agree 100%, Ben.
Because they weren't born before we crossed.
Yeah,
That's right.
Right now, Walt, they mamas wasn't born before I crossed.
So when that's true. That's very true.
That's right. We got to get the Ozzy Roberts, the Mike
That's
Astley.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You gotta give them alone.
I'll work on that.
yeah.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
Walt. What do you say? What is this? May?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say right around the 4th of July, right after the 4th, something like that.
You tell me when, and I mean, I'll get Ozzy, I'll get Lou Mitchell, I'll get Al Ferry,
let's go
That'd be great.
Yeah. So you say like the middle of July.
Yeah.
Just tell me when. Give us some notice, and I'll
August.
do everything I have to do to get in touch with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll do. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for pulling this together,
We
man.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
God bless you.
All you guys look real good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look.
We can say
You
the
look good
same when
too,
we can see your
Albert.
face.
You haven't changed a bit, Albert. You still look like an Elbert English.
All right. Good
Brothers,
talking to you guys.
Stay healthy.
Peace out,
Right,
man.
man.
I love you, man.
Thank you, Brother Ray. God bless you.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Thank you, brothers.
Brother
Thank
Ray,
you.
you'll always be a Kappa chapter brother for us.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, my brothers. Always, and that's where I got baptized in Omega.
Great.
Ben is responsible for my immersion in how do we keep a chapter alive, because I'm telling you, he was skating on thin ice for a while, but now he's sailing. He's got a yacht.
Well, you guys did a great job, man. You did an unbelievably great job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, brothers.
Thank you
Be
for
well,
sharing this
everybody.
with
All
us.
brothers be well.
Great night.
I love
Thank
you,
you.
man.
Bye.
Take care,
Thank
bro.
you for sharing.
Right.